You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello and welcome to the Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about being a leader in your life. What does that require? How can you be inspirational to other people at work, at home? We're going to be talking about that. Also, we're going to be taking your calls. So if you want to be a leader in your life, call in at 800-333-0001, and I'll be taking your calls and giving you advice so you can do so. And we're going to have our inspirational guest next segment, Catherine Switzer. She was the first female runner in the Boston Marathon, but it didn't come with having to overcome some hurdles. She will tell us her story, and it's really exciting. So stay tuned for that. Also, if you want to hear today's show again, feel free to go to livingfullout.com. All the episodes are waiting there for you. Or you can check us out on Alexa or go to your app store for your phone. If you have an iPhone or Android or whatnot, go ahead and check us out there. We're available on the go. And lastly, we enjoy hearing from you. If you have any questions on today's topic or need resources, or if you have an inspirational story that would motivate our audience, we would enjoy hearing from you, and just reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. Again, that's connect@livingfullout.com. So again, today we're talking about being a leader in your life. And sometimes the best way to start is being honest and just putting out there what is working, what is not working, and really diagnosing what do you need to do to make it better. So we're actually going to go to the phone lines now and check in with one of our callers. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi.
Thank you for calling in. How can we help you today?
I have a question, actually. I feel like I've been always having a doubt. Should I be losing weight? Because in this society, everybody just values so much about being slim. So what do you think?
You know what? I'm with you, right? We see it in the magazines. We see it on the news. People are constantly working out or going on diets. It is confusing. Let me ask you a question. Yeah. What do you like most about your body? What do you like? Not what you don't like, but what do you like?
I like my waist.
Waist. Okay. The thing is, the waist is great. I mean, who doesn't want a good waist, right? You look good in a bikini with that good waist, dresses. What else do you like? What else do you like about your body?
My face.
Your face? And specifically, what part? Do you like your eyes, your nose, your mouth?
My mouth.
Your mouth. Okay. So here's why I'm asking you these questions. Because looks are going to go, first of all, right? I mean, I'd love to say that we get more beautiful and more handsome as we get older, but the reality is things start to sag and they go gray, and, you know, it's just kind of the way it goes. But what you really want to zoom in on are what are the features that you are proud of. So you want to celebrate those, and if they are great features that others like as well, then wear clothes that compliment you, or go out there and let people see that beautiful face. Don't hide it. Is that something you can do?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And so I'm really glad that you called in about this, because today we're talking about being a leader in your life. And so the best thing that you can do is share with another person, help them to figure out what are their positive attributes, right? So you asked a great question of us today. So I encourage you to ask one friend today, what are the features of their body that they like? Go ahead and do the same coaching process I did with you. Because the thing is, when you do that, you're going to make them feel really good. And maybe they're struggling with body image challenges as well. And there you are, being that leader for them, helping them to see the positive parts of who they are. Can you do that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for calling in. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And I'm so glad that she asked that question, right? Because when we're out there in the world, whether you're applying for a job or you're doing online dating, those pictures count, and they shouldn't have to, but they do. Sometimes that's the first thing that people see before they ever hear you talk, before they ever meet you. But I want you to consider that what you say, the image you do put out there, that is all about leadership too, right? You want to take control over that. You want to make sure that you're putting out the right image. Do you want to be someone that's professional and maybe executive looking? Are you somebody that wants to be stylish and creative? Are you someone that just really applauds being casual? Maybe enjoy wearing a Hawaiian shirt, whatever it is. It's all about your personality. It's all about figuring out what you want to display out there in the world as to who you are, kind of your signature card, right? Then when you take the looks, when you take the image, and now you complement that with your personality. So now when you're talking to people in being a leader in your life, what does that look like? So saying positive things, like, I don't know if you all know someone like this. I know a lot of people, but it's those people that walk into the room and they have a lot of charisma and they're hugging people, they're shaking hands. When you see those people, you want to go up to them too. You want to say hi. And you can be that person. It doesn't mean that you have to be to the 10th power, over animated, anything like that. Just be you, but have that same charisma. And maybe that's because you have a warm heart. Maybe you're a good listener. Maybe you're funny. Maybe you're intellectual. Whatever it is that you say, again, that's all part of the package of who you are. Now, as we go deeper into you becoming a leader in your life, you want to look at how you can take your natural gifts and talents and really put them out there, execute them in a way that's not just beneficial to you, but also to others. The key ingredient to life is giving and being of service to others, because we can't take our awards with us, right? We can't take our money with us at the end of the day. It's all about the journey and the imprint, the impact that we've made in other people's lives. So I encourage you to think about all the people that you interact with in a day. Maybe even break it down and consider one person. And how can you go up to that one person and be a leader to really help motivate and inspire them? So maybe it's a colleague at work. Maybe you've noticed lately they've been dealing with a lot of stresses. Maybe they're overwhelmed and they're just longing for someone to say, can I help you out? Do you want me to stay late with you and pitch in any way I can? Just offering would be a welcome to them. So you want to pinpoint who is that person that you can step in and be a leader and help guide them out of the stressful place that they're in. Or maybe on the home front, maybe it's your kids or your spouse or your boyfriend or a girlfriend. They're dealing with a challenge. And again, you can lead them out of the place of anxiety into a place of positivity. But you have to be willing to ask. You have to be curious and you have to care. And I know in my life, there's a lot of what I do for my living is coaching and obviously being here with you on the radio. But I have to step back sometimes and just listen. Obviously, being legally blind, I'm not watching people as much, but I'm listening to them. I'm listening for the words that they say to themselves and to others. And I want to just leave this segment really talking about the word choice, because if you find that you're a glass half empty person, know that you don't always have to be. We can fill up that cup. We can help you to become a glass half full person. It starts with understanding how you talk to yourself and to others. So if you say the word not or any of those N''T words, I want you to catch yourself and I want you to take those out of the way that you talk. Nothing should be a shouldn't, couldn't, wouldn't. Everything should be it's possible. I can, I will, I want. You also want to allow yourself to be free of burdens or expectations. Again, we know that things aren't going to work out. A good leader anticipates that things are going to happen. The day is not always going to go swimmingly the way that we design it to be, right? The unknowns are going to pop into our schedule. So when you're leading your family, when you're leading your coworkers, when you're even leading yourself in your own life, you want to anticipate those unknowns that are going to come your way. And when you do get those blocks, those hurdles that cut you off or are unexpected, I want you to look at them with a sense of humor. What I have learned as a leader is when times get stressful, if you allow yourself to bask in a place of stress, a place of anxiety, if you let those around you continue to be worried, then everybody will be. But it's the leader who steps up and says, this is a moment that we can grow from. This is a time when we can get together and become a united team. And so you want to think about how you can be that leader for other people, how you can help move them from a place of anxiety and worry and stress into a place of positivity so that you can all live full out together. So I want you to think about how you can be a leader in your life. We'll be taking more of your calls coming up. Also, in our next segment, we're going to be joined by Catherine Switzer. You don't want to miss her story. First woman to run in the Boston Marathon. How did she do that? How did she qualify? Because women didn't used to be able to run. She was the first. And it came with some blocks, some hurdles, some stress. But as a leader in her life, she knew that was happening. She knew it was coming. She anticipated it, and she got through it. We'll be learning from her. Stay with us. We'll be coming right back after this break. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay with us.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I liked kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure.
Tomorrow?
Let's check with Mom. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm going to return the kayak. Just make sure you have everything.
Yep. Can we walk home?
How about a taxi? 233 North Maple, please.
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood.
Best day ever.
A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Don't you wish that getting your child to eat right, move more, and spend less time in front of a screen could be as easy as pushing a button? It might not be that simple, but you do have more power than you know. And you can maximize that power with proven strategies, tips, and tools from the National Institutes of Health's We Can, or Ways to Enhance Children's Activity and Nutrition program. We Can offers all kinds of resources, including fun recipes and activities the family can do together to show you the way to live a healthier lifestyle. We're not saying it's easy. We are saying that it can be done. Take the first step today. Call 1-866-359-3226 for a free We Can Parents Handbook. And be sure to visit the We Can website at wecan.nhlbi.nih.gov for free information too. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
He knew exactly what to do.
I had no clue what I was doing.
We set up the rocket.
Hit ignition.
And then
nothing. Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Then out of nowhere, the rocket launched into the air.
The rocket did get into the air.
I've never seen anything fly so high.
And then crashed into a kite. Look out! And then the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
Even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about being a leader in your life. And how do we do that? What ingredient, what mixes within us do we need to have to be that leader and help motivate people? Well, our inspirational guest today could not be a more perfect example. I mean, she lives full out every day. But Catherine Switzer is one to be reckoned with. She is a lady who leads her life, but she also leads others. She was the first woman to run in the Boston Marathon, and that was no easy task. So I'm not going to give away her story. I want to bring her on so she can tell it herself. Hello, welcome, Catherine.
Hello, Nancy. How are you? It's great to be here and great to be with your audience.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And I want to take our audience back a bit before the Boston Marathon to who you were as a youngster, as a child. You were always an athletic one. I mean, that was within your, spirit. And I remember your father gave you some really good advice. What was that?
Yeah, it was really funny. I remember very vividly being a skinny little kid with frizzy hair and glasses and being pretty insecure, but pretty determined to do things. And I remember when I was leaving elementary school, I was going to high school. We didn't have middle schools in those days. And I thought, well, the passport to success when you get to high school has to be a high school cheerleader. At least it was, 55 years ago. And when I announced to my parents that I wanted to be a high school cheerleader, my father didn't miss a beat and said, "You don't want to be a cheerleader. Cheerleaders cheer for other people. You want people to cheer for you. The game is on the field." And he said, "Life is to participate, not to spectate." And I thought, wow.
Wow. I mean, that is a pretty powerful stance to take.
It was an amazing thing because, he's a pretty conservative guy. And then he went on to say, hey, listen, your school has a field hockey team. You should play on that team. I mean, we were lucky, actually, in those years to have even a field hockey team for girls. And he said, if you ran a mile a day, you'd be one of the best players. He said, I know you've never played that sport. I only know it's about running, but I know if you ran a mile a day that you could be one of the best players. And so I went out to run this mile a day every day of that summer before I went to high school. And amazing thing happened. I not only got very fit, but I got the sense of empowerment and victory and fearlessness that nobody could take away from me. And I swear to you, I've been running for 58 years, and that sense of fearlessness and victory has never gone away. It's absolutely magic.
Wow. And isn't that all amazing? Because that's just the words that your father said to you. You literally ran with them and look where you are today. And so obviously you were running, you were training. Now you had a coach that was pretty important in your life. I mean, he was kind of your go-to. And he was the one that actually introduced you to the Boston Marathon. Can you share with us who he was and kind of how you kind of got that idea in your mind?
Yeah, I love telling the story about this guy, too, because like my father and my mother, because she was very, very motivational also, I think we all have to realize that talent and capability is everywhere. It only needs the opportunity, and sometimes that opportunity is all of us, and this is what creates leaders, I believe, is all of us just saying to a little boy or little girl, you can do it, you are significant, hey, attaboy, attagirl, give them that chance to fulfill and believe in themselves. Because, if I just stayed that silly little insecure girl without doing that mile a day, my life would have been completely different. So when I got to college, when I went to university, Syracuse University, I went to study journalism because I wanted to write about sports. And I felt that I was going to have a tough time getting a newspaper job as a sports reporter if I didn't have a really great degree. So another secret of success is to always get the best education you can. Fight for it if you can, if you have to. And when I was at Syracuse, there were no girls' sports whatsoever. And no intercollegiate sports. The girls just had intramurals and play days. But the boys, there were 25 different sports at least for men, and they were all scholarship endowed. And I thought, gosh, this is really weird, why the men have all these sports and women don't. But I began running on the men's cross-country team unofficially, and the coach welcomed me to come out. He never thought I would, but I came out to train with the men, and it was there that a volunteer coach, who he wasn't even paid by the university, but a volunteer coach, sort of took me under his wing, and he had been a marathon runner. And by the time I met him, he was really old. He was 50. and by
funny.
that time, he was just, out helping coach the team. And he had been out working out with them for years and years. And when I came out, he felt really sorry for me because I was so slow and began running with me very slowly, but began telling me about his career. I was too breathless to talk, but he could talk the whole time. And he told me about how he had run 15 Boston marathons. And he so inspired and regaled me that I asked him if I couldn't run the Boston Marathon also. And he said, no, a girl couldn't do it. A girl didn't have the capability. Girls are too weak and too fragile. And I was very annoyed because by this time we were running 10 miles a day. And I said other women had run marathons. Even at Boston, a woman named Roberta Gibb jumped out of the bushes the year before. She didn't register, but she ran the race. And he didn't believe it. He didn't believe any of these stories. And finally, when we argued, he said, listen, if you'd show me in practice that you could run that distance, 26.2 miles, he said, I would be the first person to take you to Boston. So, there's another secret of leadership and also success is that somebody gives you a challenge and a goal and inspires you to succeed. And he certainly did. And we trained together. And then I did the distance in practice. And he helped me sign up for the race. He was totally, totally supportive.
Well, and in fact, Catherine, you didn't just go 26 miles. You went 31 miles. And he collapsed. Didn't he, pass out?
That's true. That's true. I didn't know if I had time to tell that story, and I won't tell it because you just did. But
well,
I really wanted desperately, no matter what, to be able to finish the race. I didn't want to go to Boston and not be able to finish for some reason.
Right.
And so I asked my coach if he could carry on for 5 more miles, and he said, sure, I guess. And he didn't sound very convinced, but he did. But at the end of the workout, it was me who felt great, and he passed out. And when he came to, he suddenly was convinced that, women have this huge capability and endurance and stamina. And guess what? This is what sports is showing now, is that women may not have the speed, power, and strength of men, but we've got more endurance, stamina, and flexibility and balance. So we're discovering
I think
a whole new world.
Yeah, and I think it's so interesting, and we only have 30 seconds here to really talk about this, but you actually had pushback. People were telling you your uterus was going to fall out and, all these scary things were going to happen if you were going to run.
Yeah, you'd never have kids. But I didn't believe any of that myth because you know what? When you run, you feel so great. So how can it be bad? And
you know what?
Ancestors, they were great.
You know what? I love that. And Catherine, I want you to stay with us because we are going to take a commercial break. And I want everybody to continue to hear her story. Yes, she is a leader in life, but you can be too. And she's giving us so many great lessons that we can take with us. And as you hear her story, apply it to your own life. Where can you be a leader in your life? Where could you step up and help motivate other people and tell them you can? So think about that. We're going to be coming right back after this break. It's all about being a leader in your life. And how do we do that? I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show, and we'll be coming right back after this break. Stay with us.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way. With just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Nancy Solari, host of the Living Full Out Show. I am excited to let you know that we are now associated with Alexa. If you have Alexa in your house and you didn't know that, go ahead and find Living Full Out because you can hear us anytime you want, and we're there for you to keep you motivated. Go to your app store because we're located there as well. Just look for the Living Full Out radio show. It's important to us that we put out really inspiring programming, but we want to make sure that you have it at your fingertips when you need us most. We never know when those challenges are going to come, when we're going to feel lonely and need that motivation. So just know that when you need us, we're here for you. Check out Alexa, the app stores, or go to livingfullout.com. Here's to you living full out.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about being a leader in your life and what is required to do that. How can we learn those skills? And today we have a treat. We're bringing you our inspirational guest. Her name is Catherine Switzer. And boy, is she a leader. She was the first woman to run the Boston Marathon. And yes, so many women have run now beyond her in recent years. But to be the first at anything, that is a moment where we want to just clap our hands and really applaud them, because there's a lot of nerves and a lot of anxiety that comes with being that first person to do something. So I'd like to welcome Catherine back to the show.
Thank you, Nancy. It's wonderful to be back.
Absolutely.
You know, I was the first woman actually to officially run the Boston Marathon, officially register and run the Boston Marathon. But let's not forget our history. There were probably, 7 or 8 women, before me who had run unofficially, but still had run the marathon distance. I didn't know that really when I ran the Boston Marathon in 1967. But maybe it's a good thing I didn't know that.
Well, and you know what, though? I mean, yes, I know a couple women like threw themselves into the race and they kind of ran along. But there's something about getting those numbers and being official. And I'd like you to tell the story about how you signed up, because you didn't just sign up as Catherine. You kind of did it creatively, but not intentionally.
Yeah. My coach insisted that I sign up for the race because it's a very, very important race. And he said people should not go and just jump into these races. This is like the Olympic Games. So there was a lot of paperwork involved, but and I filled it all out and I paid my entry fee. But I said, let's go through the rule book because there's nothing about gender here. And he said, well, they wouldn't put anything about gender on there because they'd never believe a woman could do it. And I said, yeah, but do you think it's legal? And he said, if it's not in the rule book and it's not on the entry form, what's to say it's wrong? And I said, Anyway, I signed the entry form with my initials, KV Switzer, but I didn't do it to defraud the officials. I did it because my name was misspelled by my dad on my birth certificate, and it was always misspelled throughout my life to correct it. In other words, the Catherine has no E in the middle, but everybody put it in anyway. So the other thing is as a writer, I was reading people like J.D. Salinger, E.E. Cummings, and T.S. Eliot. So as a writer myself, I thought, you signed your name with your initials, and it was kind of cool. So that's how I had been signing my name for a number of years. Well, maybe it's a good thing I did sign the entry form that way, because the officials obviously thought I was a guy and issued me numbers. They probably wouldn't have issued me numbers otherwise.
It's interesting how all the stars aligned that day, because it was a cold day. It was a blizzardy kind of day, and you were all trying to stay warm, and your coach went and got the packets and gave them out to each of you. So again, they didn't see this woman grab the packet. But then there you were as they were kind of getting you all, set up at the starting line, and they kind of pushed you into the gate with everybody else. And in that moment, how did you feel? Did you feel like, oh my gosh, this is real? Like they don't even care? And did the anxieties kind of start to melt away?
Well, the anxiety kind of started to melt away because of that, that, I guess I haven't done anything wrong. I guess this is okay. But also, let's not forget, all the men in the race could tell I was a woman and came up to me and said, I wish my wife would run. I wish my girlfriend would run. We're with you all the way. Go for it. They were so supportive. And this is an amazing thing about running, and that the people in the sport don't care about gender or race or orientation or economic background. They care about you as a runner, and we're all motivating each other. It's a fabulous, fabulous sport and activity. So I felt great because of those guys, and I felt very supportive. But boy, was I in for a surprise at 1.5 miles into the race.
Right. And let's talk about that. Here Catherine is running, living her dream, and then she gets almost tackled. And who was this person?
Well, the race director himself was on the press bus and saw that I was in his race with wearing numbers, and he lost his temper. He thought I was a girl there trying to make a mockery of him, trying to get publicity or something, and was not serious. He couldn't believe any woman runner would be serious. There I was wearing numbers. He had been fooled. He looked like an idiot. He lost his temper, ran down the street, and attacked me and tried to pull off my bib numbers and throw me out of the race, and cursed at me and was screaming and grabbing me. And I was terrified. I was totally terrified. I was blindsided by this. And my coach tried to get him away from me, but it was my boyfriend, who was an ex-All-American football player, who was also running in the race, and he threw a crossbody block into the official and knocked him out of the race instead. Now, that part of the story is very funny, but the horrible part of the story is I was a 20-year-old girl in my first big race, and it was a terrible, terrible experience. And it happened in front of the press truck. And so here I was looking up at a sea of cameras clicking and people yelling. I felt like a pariah, and I really didn't quite know what to do. And for a split second, I thought, gosh, what have I done wrong? And I was so embarrassed, I thought I should go home to my mom. But then I got really angry, and I said, you know what, I'm going to finish this race on my hands and my knees if I have to. And as I say, my boyfriend had knocked him down, and so off we went. And all throughout the race, I kept thinking, this guy is so horrible. He's so mean to me. And, you can't run 26 miles and stay mad. And I stopped getting mad during the race was about 21 miles, and I realized he was just a product of his time, and other women weren't there because they were afraid, and I really had an obligation to show women how wonderful running could be for them, and that they deserved to be here, and that they deserved equal space in the Olympics, and they deserved college scholarships, and they deserved all of this hadn't occurred to me before the incident. So sometimes the worst things in your life can become your best things.
Well,
because when I finished the race, I knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. It was really amazing.
Well, and it really was amazing. I mean, you finished, you did it. What was your time, by the way, when you finished it?
Well, it was only 4 hours and 20 minutes. I improved eventually to 2 hours and 51. But I did finish every marathon I ever ran, and so I think that's the significant thing there. And that the fact that this race in particular, as horrible as it was at the time, gave me the inspiration for the rest of my life. I think we can learn so much from the bad things in our life to turn them around, make them good things. And I think that's also what makes a leader.
Well, I know earlier on, like when you were deciding you were going to run or even just leaping into athletics, a lot of people looked at you as a woman and they felt you couldn't do it. You were too weak. Again, your uterus was going to fall out. You couldn't have kids if you did run, blah, 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 blah. But then after this incident occurred, you guys had kind of pulled off. You went to go get a drink, some ice cream, and that's when you started to see the first pictures that had come out. And were you offended by that? Were people encouraging? Were they like, yes, she did it? Or were they not? What was the atmosphere?
Well, the atmosphere was quite electric because we were in all of the papers all around the world, and I began to see them around midnight when we were driving home. I saw the editions of the Boston paper, and I suddenly realized that this wasn't some isolated incident. Now it was a very big incident. It was going to change my life, and it was going to change women's sports. And so, you're kind of faced with that enormity. The guys didn't think so. The guys just thought it was a big lark. And I kind of realized something bigger was afoot. The point of the whole thing is, though, that I was inspired by the negativity to create something positive. I think in life, what's really important is not what happens to you, or it's what you do with what happens to you. People aren't destined necessarily to do things. They mostly it's about taking responsibility and finishing the job. And I realized in this negative thing that there was a tremendous opportunity and obligation to really help other people, women especially, who just were too afraid to take the first step, whether it was in running or whether it was in their career or their homes or their culture or their relationships. So it was very, very important.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And at Living Full Out, we talk a lot about purpose, finding our purpose, rejuvenating our purpose, tapping into it. And the thing is you have found your purpose, and it has helped women get into athletics and really you paved the way for that. But what should we know kind of as a society about this? How can we make it easier for women?
We can make it easier for women by starting with, I said, when you're very young, to tell them that they can do anything. Mm-hmm. We have to start early by telling little boys and little girls that they're just as good as each other. Later on, we need to keep mentoring girls and women and telling them, that don't listen to all these negative signals. Get going. And in the corporate workplace, I think mentoring is extremely, extremely important. I think creating an opportunity is everything. For instance, right now, who would have ever imagined that the bib number that official tried to rip off me, 261, now has become a number meaning fearless in the face of adversity. And at first I thought, oh, well, that's just kind of cool that everybody loves this number. But now I said, this is too big. I'm going to do something else with this. And I've created a nonprofit that is called 261 Fearless, that is going out around the world showing women how to take one step, put one foot in front of the other, take that first step with another friend who's going to show them how to be fearless. And that is the first step to empowerment, just showing and helping people to take that first step of empowerment. If you can change one thing in a person's life that makes them feel better, they can go on and do so much more with everything.
I completely agree. And just with the last, seconds left we have here in the show, we're talking about being a leader. If somebody's in our audience is listening today and they're feeling like they could do more, they could be more, what qualities do they need to attain to become a leader in their life?
It's very simple. Pay attention and create the opportunity. Every time you walk by a social injustice, you can pick this up and change it. Or you can do something. You can't change the world, but maybe you can change your neighborhood. Start small, make a change.
I love that. I love that. And Catherine, you are always going to be a friend here of the Living Full Out family, and you're such a superstar in your world. And just for everybody who hasn't heard of Catherine, you really want to check her out. Go online, hear her story even more. We can only cover so much of it today, but she's really gone on to, provide a great path for women and men in being leaders athletically in their life. So thank you so much for being on today's show. I really appreciate it. And you just keep doing your thing and living full out.
Thank you, Nancy. Good luck with the show, and congratulations, everybody, on taking that first step.
Thank you, Catherine. And when we come back, we're going to be taking your calls. Again, I hope over the course of this show, you've been thinking about where in your life do you want to stand up? Where do you want to inspire people? Where do you want to give more and be of support? It is never too late. In fact, I think sometimes we have to get out of our own way. We have to know that we can turn our light up. We can shine bright. Our passions can become more than just a hobby. They can become a living. They can become purposeful. So go out there, become a leader in your life. Stay with us. We'll be taking your calls when we come back. It's all about being a leader in your life. I am Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay with us.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
The following message is about Medicaid and CHIP, free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. Enrollment is open year-round.
Hey, voice lady, give me the mic.
Okay.
Hey, DJ, let's switch up the music. That's better. So listen up, moms and dads out there. There are these programs called Medicaid and CHIP. They offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids. Things like doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and shots are covered. All the stuff that keeps kids like me healthy and in charge.
So, as you can tell, a covered kid is a confident kid. And it means confident parents, too. To learn more about affordable health coverage for your family, visit healthcare.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669.
Yep, you could do something big for your family today because enrollment is open year-round.
This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And Sophia.
They're gonna jump out of trees. You can't stop them. They'll go down the slide head first. They'll make parachutes out of sheets. They'll balance on things that are impossible to balance on, like the back of a couch or a windowsill or a scooter seat. They'll run with sharp objects. They'll run into walls. They'll climb things that won't hold their weight. They'll put their fingers in places where they could get smashed. They'll drive their tricycles down steep hills. They'll bounce balls off their faces. They'll step on each other. They'll jump on each other. They'll invent whole new ways to put themselves in jeopardy. But one of the most dangerous things kids will do happens while they're sitting perfectly still. Kids who ride in a car without a booster seat are much more likely to suffer serious or fatal injury during a crash than kids in boosters. But amazingly, 80% of all kids who need them aren't in them. After a toddler seat and until they're 4'9", booster kids, and don't let them down.
Go to boosterseat.gov to learn more about the importance of boosters. A message from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Have you ever lost a cat? And have you ever wanted to get your cat back after you lost it? I'm Andrew Hoffman. I invented the Lost Cat Magnet. Just turn it on and lost cats stick to it. Just listen to one satisfied cat. That's proof. You should invent stuff too. But remember, don't do a Lost Cat Magnet.
Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your own inventions or just play some games at inventnow.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the National Inventors Hall of Fame Foundation, and the Ad Council.
We're your pets, and this song's dedicated to those people who don't have health insurance yet. Enroll, we say, we want you to be okay. Enroll, we say, take care, people, for goodness sake.
Health insurance is now affordable and covers prescriptions, hospitalizations, and preventive care. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn more.
And take care, people.
Brought to you by Get Covered America and the Ad Council.
To be a leader in life, you want to consider what are the unique qualities that you have that you could share with others. Taking those qualities and developing them into your purpose and going out there and going after life. Also, how can you be of service to others, letting them know that they can do it, that they're worth it? Remember, the words you say to yourself and to others are what can propel you to being a leader in your life.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out show. And this entire show, we've been talking about being a leader in life. And yes, that involves career, your family, but it also involves your health. And I know that sometimes we have to be a leader, our best advocate for ourselves in making sure that we're getting the right treatments, the right support. And so I just wanted to touch on that briefly because you can be a leader in helping yourself get to better health too. So I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out show.
Hi.
Hi, thank you for calling. Yes.
How do I handle my daughter being cyberbullied on social media?
Oh, good question. First of all, I am so sorry that she is. How old is she? What is her age?
She's 17.
She's 17. Okay. And how has this changed her? I mean, you knew her before. How has it adjusted her personality or the way that she acts in the world?
Oh, she's definitely a lot more emotional now, and she internalizes everything. So,
okay. And is the bullying only online, or does it also occur at school or amongst her friends?
It's mainly online.
Okay. We've talked all this entire show about being a leader in life, and I'm so glad that you were asking this question because you are the leader of your family. You're her mom, right? Mm-hmm. And so first of all, kudos to you for calling in and really acknowledging this. As a leader, I would try to protect her in some ways. Obviously, less time online would benefit her. But if the online does seep into the physical and she is confronted face to face, then we don't want to protect her so much that she isn't prepared and ready to face that because we want her to be a leader in her life. And what I encourage you to do is maybe do your own online search and see if there is a organization in your local community that maybe addresses bullying, and maybe you and her could go together and meet other people who have also faced the same circumstance. You might also align her with a mentor, either somebody who is older than her but who's been through it, maybe somebody she would be inspired by or look up to, or maybe even to find a peer mentor, somebody who might be around her same age or maybe early 20s who went through it as well. Because I really believe that when we have numbers, when we bond together, when we link arms, right, we're more powerful. And what we want her to realize is that she's not alone, and that what she's going through, the stress, the pain, that others have gone through it and they've come out the other side. What worries me about bullying is when somebody feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, like this is going to be a life sentence. And we want to figure out how to show her it's not, that others have gotten through it. Have you tried any of those avenues?
Yes. And just trying to let her know that she's not by herself and just validating that.
Does she have any other mentors, though, besides you?
She has some friends
okay.
About her age as well that have told her similar things that you're saying right now.
Okay. And the reason why I mentioned going online, whether it be, an online search on Google or LinkedIn or YouTube, is because we always know, we hope that our mothers, our fathers, our friends are going to love us and support us. But she might also want to hear it from somebody else also.
Right.
And that person could give her tips on what she could do, how she could position herself, what she could say to those people that are bullying her, but also what she needs to say to herself. I would encourage you to find that mentor, someone outside of you and her family and friends that you approve, that would be able to be another form of advice. How's that sound?
It sounds really good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in, and you're an excellent mom. So proud of you.
Thank you so
Keep
much.
doing your thing, okay? Thank you for calling in. And for everybody who's been listening today, I love that the last caller called in because she's trying to step up and be a voice for her daughter. That's being a leader. So know that as you see other people maybe being bullied or put down, if you hear gossip occurring in the office, or you see some, not very good talking online in terms of people putting others down, be that leader. Step up, protect other people. That's just another opportunity for you to give and really allow yourself to shine. So I hope over the course of this week, you've been able to really take in what it is that you want to focus on most. And I hope that this show has allowed you to put in priority where you can be a leader in those avenues that you want to pursue. It is never too late to turn the page and put yourself out there. Develop your new persona, because the old you doesn't always have to be the continued current you. You can turn the page and renew who you want to be a leader in your life. Now, our entire Living Full Out family is here each week to help support you. We've got Rich and Aaron and Riley and Amanda and Camille and so many others that just want to make sure that you are truly living your life full out. Have a wonderful week, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you next week for the show. And most of all, step out there, smile, lead with integrity, know that your life has purpose and that you're living your life full out. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.